Hi everyone, this is Nadia. I'm an occult specialist that uses spiritual intelligence to empower entrepreneurs into a healthy, empowered money story to live a balanced life. And today I want to be covering in the second round series of Sparty Self-Care, or the hashtag Sparty Self-Care, is how to listen to yourself, your body, and your intuition. So it really comes as no surprise that most people in today's society has very low esteem because they struggle to listen to themselves. If there is something wrong with their body, they ignore it and then they end up with health issues. If they know something in their heart, they ignore it because they don't see it as a red flag. And really a lot of this comes from childhood trauma. This comes from stuff we are not taught as children. As children, we are taught to ignore our feelings to please other people. We are taught to people please. I covered a little bit of this in the last video, but I really want to expand more on this time as well. So how do you listen to your intuition? How do you listen to what's inside you? How do you listen to your body? How do you switch this bit off is what I usually say. And how do you listen to this? Well, first and foremost, the ego for me always resides in the mind. The ego is a healthy thing. It obviously preserves our self-pride, self-respect, and self-value to a degree. The problem comes when somebody moves from that ego to egotistical, meaning that they think they're the best thing since sliced bread, you can't tell them any different, and they're always up their own ass, basically. That's not healthy, that's egotistical, and you really need to work out what's the difference between ego. Lots of people, because they have such low confidence and esteem, they can't see the difference between somebody who has a healthy ego, who says, no, this is not healthy for me, I'm not dealing with it, as opposed to somebody who's egotistical. If someone comes from a low esteem vibration and they meet someone with a high esteem vibration, those two people cannot be in alignment with the law of oscillation, because as human beings, our body is made of 70% water and we vibrate at a certain frequency. And when you upgrade your frequency and you move upwards, the people at low frequency simply cannot remain in your life. It doesn't mean you don't like them. It doesn't mean you have anything against them. It's a law. You're following a law of vibration, the vibrational law of oscillation, or the law of oscillation, so to speak. I don't know what number that law of oscillation comes at, but bear with me. So listening to your intuition is, I guess it's one of two ways. So number one, all of us have that little voice. I used to call my own little intuition, I used to call it my special intuition, I used to call it little voice. I wasn't particularly all that aware that I was psychically gifted when I was younger, although I knew that I was different to most people. And I could see things from the corner of my eye. I could hear spirits if it had crossed. From a very young age, I knew that. I just knew there was something off with somebody. I could look at their face and know what was wrong with them, or who they were, what they were trying to hide from me. So, I mean, I kind of thought it was normal, like everybody does that. And to a degree, everybody is supposed to do that. I don't think it's anything special if I say I'm psychically gifted. It just means I'm a healthy, normal human being. What's happened is that so many people have become so desensitized and so conditioned out of their own spirit that they're constantly, this approval seeking is constantly looking for, am I doing it right, from the outside constantly, because you've had nothing to fill up your inner bank. Okay. So intuition is one of those whispers. I always say psychic ability is intuition on steroids. It's like you've just grown it up so much that now you literally can't ignore what goes on in the world. So for people who are starting out, I mean, those of us who know that we can communicate with the other world, we know it's not particularly, I mean, it will still apply, and I will kind of give it a little bit of an addition afterwards. But for those who are really starting on that journey and say, yeah, I feel blocked and I can't listen to my intuition, or I don't know what's going on, the first thing you need to do is decalcify your pineal gland. Now, what is your pineal gland? It is your third eye or your sixth chakra, because we are digging from upwards and not downwards, obviously. So it's this. So every time, they want to point these temperature guns at you, I always do this with my wrist. I'm like, no one's pointing any infrared nonsense at my third eye. No thanks. I like my eye very much. Just don't bother with me. And all the stuff, it's the pineal gland. The pineal and the pituitary glands need to be opened for you to have the ability. This is nothing special. This is not like you're superhuman or anything. This is normal human power. If only most people knew how badly their power had been stolen from them, yeah, you'd see a completely different world. But when your third eye is completely shut, it's burnt off. It's just like eyes, basically. It's the same thing. It's your mind's eye. You can see everything through it, and you can literally see when I see everything, when I say everything, I really do mean remote viewing. Like, it's just there within seconds. So for some people, clairvoyance or their eye is not their primary or predominant gift. Mine isn't. I mean, it's there, I use it, but it's not so much. For me, my gift of intuition is literally clairsentience. Clairsentience coming from the French clairsentience, clear feeling. So for me, if I feel something in my body, I overwhelmingly know that something is right with someone, wrong with somebody. I know what's coming. So I use two gifts. It's a mix of clairsentience, clear feeling, and claircognizance, clear knowing. So there's information. For instance, if there's somebody that walking towards me on a street and I'm looking at them, there's information that's coming about them in my head immediately. Not per se because I sit there and be like, oh, I want to know everything about this person. I don't care what your underwear is. I don't care, how many hoops of pasta you had for lunch and who you're dating and who you're sleeping with. I couldn't care less. And it's not, people are afraid of their own power, hence they're afraid of the gift. Hence lots of people, when, you are within your power to say, yes, I'm psychically gifted, which is a normal thing, people back away and step away from you because they fear it. They're taught. The mainstream media, the cabal, your ruling masses who use all this stuff against you in the negative way have taught you that anything that you cannot quantify from a logical and scientific perspective is evil. Most people avoid psychically gifted people because they think we're evil. They think if we practice magic, and not everybody that is psychically gifted practice magic. I do, and I'm proud of that. They think, oh my god, she's probably got questionable morals, I don't know what she's capable of, blah blah. Yeah, fine. If people are using it in a wrong manner, that's fair enough. I can't do much about it. But listening to your intuition means that you never ignore that there's a bang all the time that's inside you. For me, I have suffered worst when I ignore my gift or I ignore my ability. Maybe because I didn't trust myself. And oftentimes when we're kids, we do not come from households where we're encouraged. It's the complete opposite. It's you're cut down, you're criticized, you're bullied, you're humiliated, you're shamed, you're coerced. So the gift it's like a flower, basically. It should bloom. It should, you give it lots of sunlight, lots of love, talk to it, tell it's pretty, give it water, sit with it, and it will grow itself. And that's exactly what the gift is. So your intuition is literally like a muscle. You go to the gym, you work out, you see your body getting tighter, and you feel proud. And when things are in alignment and you have the validation, that makes sense. Now, because ability is something that you can't prove logically until maybe something has happened, it's very hard for people to trust in themselves because they're told to stay in their head all the time. They're told to make all their decisions from their head because that way it's egotistical and they can control it, if that makes any sense. With psychic ability, you can't control things. There are things I've known about people and I desperately wish they weren't true. Or there's things I know about a situation and I'm like, really, I just wish it was something else. But no, it's the truth, and that's what's hammering on constantly. I remember having a client who told me this, and it's a perfect and classic example of what I will share with you guys. So she met this guy, and I don't know if he's still in a relationship with somebody. I don't know, and I don't keep up like that. But she said that from the moment she met him, she knew she was going to get married to him. And she said, and he was cool with her. I mean, they were cool with each other. And she came to me and she said, what do you think? And I said, well, you have to trust yourself. If you felt that, and I still remember her saying to me, but just quite a while down the road, like, oh, he's in a relationship. I mean, I thought I was going to get married to him. I said, listen, you'd be surprised how life turns out, right? And the joke is she's actually with him at the moment. So, I said whatever you're feeling inside is always right. I mean, we'll try and cut it down, we'll try and push it away, we'll try and suppress it because it's not comfortable to deal with. And learning to use your intuition means listening to your body. Okay. So, normal corporate jobs or normal employment, or even to a degree entrepreneurship, is a very unhealthy, wounded, masculine paradigm where it's constantly the militant perspective of go, 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 go. You can't stop. You have to soldier on, blah, blah. Yeah, that's the reason people are ill and they're sick and they have inflammation and they have hernias and they have headaches and people end up with heart attacks and strokes. Each thing in your body is dis-ease. I have spoken so much about this in the summer in my car videos. If you guys want to go back into it, there's plenty of stuff I've spoken about. Whatever condition you have in your body is an underlying issue. For instance, sometimes when I sit at the laptop too much and try and do my work, my shoulders hurt, my back hurts so much. And I was talking with one of my friends, and she's just like, where do you not feel supported? Like, obviously your back hurts. And, as soon as like I delegated a little bit more of the work, the pressure went off my shoulders and I felt, I feel good. So there's tiny things that people have chronic health conditions or autoimmune conditions. I want to talk a little bit about that as well. So most people know, and I will try and make it in no bones about it, that I used to have a chronic life-threatening condition called fibromyalgia. For most people who know my story or don't know it, when the jinn that possessed me, there was 4 of them, 4 spirits that had hold over me. When they left, finally, they damaged my body so much in my mid-20s that my body began swelling up. Like, it was just, oh God, it was horrible. I was thinking, I don't know what's happening with me. My clothes wouldn't fit me. My face had become twice the size. So people probably thought like I had like a condition or I was like on some sort of steroids or something. And I was desperate to get rid of this condition. For anybody who doesn't know what fibromyalgia is, it's basically, in a nutshell, extreme sensitivity and pain in the body. And you end up having stiff muscles all the time. You have flares, you can't do much, and you're literally, it's a very sedentary lifestyle. So I really tried and pushed myself. Eventually, one day I just broke down crying in my bed and I said to God, please help me. I'm a young woman and I can't live my life with this type of condition. I need help. So I prayed and my spirit guide actually managed to find a shaman, and he's amazing, and he managed to drain the fibro out of my body. He's incredible, and he's done so much work for me and so much work for people that I have referred him to. And fibromyalgia it's very common to have, especially if you've been attacked with dark magic or you've had spirits attached to you, because what they do is they mess up the lymphatic system. So even till today, if I don't work out regularly, meaning every day, every other day, my body will start to like explode like a balloon, basically, because of the damage it leaves. So that's my intuition saying, well, no, actually, you need to do that. Instead, as opposed to saying, oh, I'm tired, the little voice inside is like, no, you need to get up and you need to do this because it's good for your health. Or if I'm crossing the street and I look at a man and I think, oh, he's a rapist or, he's a thief, I'm not going to try and second guess myself because of my ability. If I've looked in many men's eyes when I've crossed the street or something, you just know there's something off, and you feel what they're going to do. That feeling is never wrong. That knowing is never wrong. Those who rule over you, your ruling masters, the ruling families, the cabal, the elite, whatever the hell you want to call them by this point, have done everything in their power to make you blindly obey authority so that you never, ever, ever create self-belief enough to question high treason, to question everything that's going on in the world, to question tyranny, to question boots down your neck, your foot, a foot down your neck, a boot on your throat. They don't want you to question. That's the point. When you have intuition, when you're feeling, and going back to what I was going to say about corporations and employment and like the unhealthy wounded masculine, it's not even masculine. I'm not sure, that's very draconian, and it's very off-world. it teaches you emotions are weak. In a psychopathic world, emotions are weak. We live in a psychopathic world at the moment, which is why so many people who still have their normal empathic human feeling abilities, where they feel sad, they feel despair, they don't want a miserable world for this planet, they're struggling. And you need to know that anybody, it's at two levels, I guess. So you have psychopaths and narcissists who are walking in society, and they're practically everywhere. They're like rats and vermin by this point. They're just literally everywhere. Okay, and then you have and the upper echelons, as you obviously move to those who control the world at present. The abuse is pretty much the same. If you understand an abusive relationship, you understand what they're doing with the world at present, obviously. So listening to your intuition simply means that you have to build a very strong muscle of knowing when someone's toxic, when someone's trying to sabotage you, which will lead to self-sabotage, and when somebody is trying to gaslight you. For instance, I remember knowing this guy, and he's much younger to me, and he said something once to me, and I said, you said that, and he said, no, I didn't. And I scrolled back in the chat, I took a screenshot and sent it to him, and I just sat there and I'd waited, and he had nothing to say. That's literally slowly rewriting your reality. That's what narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths obviously do. Cluster Bs. They rewrite your reality, and they make you end up seeing life from rose-tinted glasses. So you miss the red flags. You miss something, beep, beep, beep. It's right in front of you. You can't see it because, well, no one's taught you to see it. So what happens if you end up with a very rough childhood? You end up with PTSD or complex PTSD, which is what I recovered from. And you don't know the difference between if you should trust somebody, if you shouldn't trust somebody. And people don't have trust issues. What they really do have is the issue of not being able to trust themselves, because anytime they have been left to their own devices, it's gone wrong. For me, it took a long time after going through dysfunction, abuse, trauma, and really healing and going into a radiant, happy state of saying, I'm going to try and make a decision. And it's not about trusting other people, it's about trusting myself to get it right. And it's okay, even if I don't get it right, at least I've done something. And that's about listening to your body. There's some days where I'm so, like I said in the previous video, I'm so exhausted because of everything obviously that I went through. I saw that my body still can't cope. Taking a shower sometimes is just, it's a big achievement for me, which sounds crazy, maybe sounds crazy to a lot of people. But, I say to myself, I've had enough strength. Sometimes I've gone to work out in hot yoga. I mean, now they're going to shut everything down from next week again, unsurprisingly. And I come home, take a shower, and just lie in my bed. I'm like, I don't want to do anything for the next 2 hours. And that's really just being kind to your body, and that's listening to your body and saying, what does my body want? Does my body want to do this? Should I be forcing myself to do things like that? With fibro, I also used to have celiac, which was intolerance to wheat. Fortunately, I don't have that anymore. Again, the shaman dreamed it out of me. And they used to be really nice cakes, cookies, normal pastries I wanted to eat. And I was like, I'm not going to eat them, no matter how much I want to eat them, because I don't want my body to cry at the end of it. Where to the point that my celiac was so bad, my eyes would close, they would swell up, my body would swell up, my feet would swell up. I would literally want to fall asleep within 15 minutes. So fortunately, I'm not at that point. I can consume wheat, although I do try and stay away from it as much as possible, because a lot of it's processed and they spray glyphosate on it all the time. So it's not the fact that we have celiac per se for anybody who has experienced it or has wheat or gluten intolerance. It's more about the stuff, the garbage they're spraying on the crop, basically, which is what we're actually intolerant to, or anybody that has been. So listening to your body is all about your body knows what it needs. Your body always knows what it needs. It's you're trying to force yourself to maybe fit into a box. For instance, diets. Some people should be vegan, some people should be vegetarian, some people should be pescatarian, some people should eat meat, some people should have chicken, some people should have eggs. That's up to you. Nobody should force you into saying, well, you can have this and you can't have that and you're a bad person, you're this. Listen to your body. Your body knows. There's been times where I have predominantly just eaten vegetarian with like cheese. There's been times where I've thrown in chicken or pescatarian. I don't eat red meat or eggs at all, for anybody that is curious, and I don't consume a lot of dairy. Like, I don't drink cow's milk. I drink plant-based milk. So it's amazing what your diet can do with you. It's amazing when you just listen to your body of what is happening. So a couple of months ago, I was meditating, and the words that flashed in my head, in my third eye, were, you need a nanite cleanse, you need a nanite cleanse. And I kept thinking, okay, so I went and got one. And when the nanites, the nanotechnology, the stuff they're spraying in the chemtrails in the air was literally being pulled out of me, I felt like literal, my body was burning as it was coming out of me, and I felt so much cleaner after it. Now, I was driving, I was turning left somewhere at the top of my road when I got that for the second time. The first time was in meditation, you need a nanite cleanse. The second time, you need a nanite cleanse. Again, it was like, you haven't listened to me the first time. That's your own intuition talking. So I thought, okay. And I really benefited from having it. So if there's something inside that you know you should be doing, but you're not doing it, it's because of your ego. It's because maybe you think, well, this won't fit into my life and I don't accept this. You know, put your ego at least aside for even 10 minutes and ask yourself, if I embrace something that's completely radically different and I don't know what it is, and most people avoid it because it's the fear of the unknown, or fear of rejection, or fear of getting it wrong, or fear of not being perfect, or fear of this and that, and that's a whole different video that I want to cover about fear. Then it's a massive thing for so many people to just say, I want to listen to my body and I want to listen to my intuition. Because when you listen inside, you sit with yourself, all the answers are inside. The answer is never outside. You can go have readings, you can go do this, you can ask people for guidance, and we're happy to help you. I'm happy to read for anyone. I'm happy to give guidance. I'm happy to mentor. But at the end of the day, the only thing that in the way I work will be, I will be making it very clear and sure that you listen to yourself. You're not reliant on me. I'm giving you the tools to become self-reliant, which there's lots of people don't want that because you're just nothing but an income stream for them, and they just want to keep pulling things out of you. I give tools of real self-reliance so that people can have autonomy and independence and sovereignty, which is what they're trying to steal. And obviously with what's going on in the world, they're cracking down. The draconian measures are cracking down day by day and making it tighter of everything that's happening. So listening to your intuition is not ignoring. If you feel something, oh, I don't like this person, or I get a bad feeling from this person, listen to it, for goodness sake. The feeling is there. It's telling you what's wrong. I mean, I've worked in places where there was this one salon I used to work in when I was younger. I don't know what the woman had against me. I was just nice to her, I was polite with her, and she was just miserable, you know. I have no understanding of what was wrong with her. And she was a receptionist, and every time I used to come in, she had a face on, and I said, you know, the feeling's mutual. It's not like I like you either, but I'm not rude about it. We're co-workers. I was like, if you don't like me, it's fine. You don't have to like me. No one's paying you on the hour over here to like me, and no one's paying me to like you. But, you know, there's something called cooperation and tolerance, and you know, you can take your miserable attitude somewhere else. And you know, the answer was always envy, basically, because the manager really got on with me very well. And yeah, some people are just like that. And it's listening to your intuition and knowing. It's the knowing. I've gone into some physical businesses and I've stopped going there because the owners don't like me, or whatever reason, they're looking at me funny, or it's not paranoia. It's you're just in tune with yourself to know, I need to go here and then I don't need to go here. And for me, I always say my gift has saved my life, literally, on a literal level. I've ran from so many things in my life. I've escaped magic, I've escaped jinn, I've escaped blood magic, I've escaped abusive relationships, I've escaped financial abuse, I've escaped dysfunctional family members. It's saved my life in many ways. So when you truly honor your intuition, you listen to yourself, you love yourself, you revere yourself, your life will totally change. Okay? So that's my round today on covering listening to your body and listening to your intuition. And again, as always, like, comment, share, subscribe. And if you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. And let me think about what I want number 3 to say. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care. Bye.